Welcome to Lesson 2 of Unit 9, Helping Seeds Travel. In this lesson, students will work to answer the question, how can we record what we observe in an investigation? In this lesson, students practice using scientific tools and processes to observe and collect data on their plants. They figure out that scientists measure and record data in an organized way to make sense of observations. When plants get no water, they cannot germinate or grow. When they get no sun, they can grow, but they are not healthy. In the Engage, discuss with students how scientists use charts to keep track of their experiments. In the Explore, direct students to the plant observation chart on student pages 6 through 11. This is where they will keep track of growth observations, color, and height of all the class plants. Note that they will be taking data 3 different times, on day 8, day 14, and day 20. Start by having them make a prediction about what they think the plants will look like on those different days. Be sure that students know a prediction is an idea of what will happen in the future. Allow them time to record their predictions. Then on data collection days, give students time to observe and record data about each of the 8 plant cups. The cups with water placed in darkness should germinate, although the stem may be long and thin and will eventually turn a yellow-green color and die due to lack of sunlight. Refrain from sharing this with students, as it's more important that they get this as part of their own discovery. Next, pass out the centimeter rulers to pairs of students. Explain to them that they will use the centimeter rulers to measure their plants, but they need to practice first. Review how they will use the ruler, making sure that the students know to start at the 0, not at the end of the ruler. Then have them practice measuring different objects around the room. In the Explain, have students work in groups of 6 to take measurements of each other's pencils. Record this measurement in centimeters on Measurement Practice, student pages 12 to 13. Explain to the class that scientists make models of collected data so they can analyze data and draw conclusions. First, use student pencil length data to create a class line plot on teacher page 8. Then share this data with students so that they can recreate the line plot using whole class data or create their own line plot using their own group's data on student page 12. Then have students use the data from this line plot to create a bar graph on student page 13. You may want to model this process whole group. Explain and label the different parts of the graph, including the title, the y-axis, and the x-axis. An example is provided on teacher page 10. After creating the graph, discuss how scientists might use graph data to compare information and draw conclusions. Then ask students how they might use measurement and graphing to record and analyze data about their plants. After all data is collected, you may want to create a class bar graph to compare the final lengths of each plant cup. In the Elaborate, students will discuss how to use measuring tools to observe plant growth. Discuss with them how to measure irregular objects, showing them that they could use a string to go around an object and then lay that string on the ruler in order to measure. Allow them to experiment with this measurement method. Then ask, how might we use the string to help us measure our plants? Give opportunity for students to turn and talk. They may respond that you could use the string to help measure curved plants or stem width. Rulers are not the only scientific tool students will use in their plant growth observations. Pass out the hand lenses demonstrating the proper way to use one. Students should hold the lens next to the object and bring their head down to it, not putting the lens close to their eye. Allow them to explore with the hand lenses, asking them, how might we use the hand lenses in our plant observations as a tool as well? The Evaluate portion of this lesson is completed as student seeds begin to grow. Therefore, it may span the unit. Use the plant observation chart on student pages 6 through 11 to record and discuss plant data over time. The conclusion questions on these sheets can be used to evaluate student understanding. After they collect data and graph or draw, Ask them, does it matter if seeds are germinated in the light or the dark? What do plants need for the seeds to germinate? Did the seeds need sunlight to sprout? When did the plant start really needing light? Or when did it need water? Did both types of seeds seem to need the same things? What is the conclusion to our question about what plants need to grow? Encourage students to turn and talk about these questions, providing evidence and reasoning for any claims they make answering these questions. Finally, return to the anchoring phenomenon for the unit by asking students, have our investigations shown us anything about the strawberry video we watched at the beginning of this unit? They may reply that the strawberry plant needed light and water to grow, because without those two things, the plant would not survive, and therefore the fruit would not have survived. Be sure to chart how student thinking has expanded or changed since the beginning of the unit. By the end of this lesson, students will plan and conduct a simple investigation, including a fair test, to answer a question.